Reapers and then finish off a command center right as those destructible rocks have been destroyed by Reapers.
Yeah.
And that's been pretty effective. So we'll see whether or not he tries to do that again, or if perhaps he'll open up a little bit more conservatively, and conservative for Rough, perhaps not try to go for some 8 racks all Marine push.
You know, it's a fun build that you just mentioned where he goes for that Reaper, and instead of pressuring, he gets out 2 or 3 Reapers, and he just works on the gold there, and then he expands to the gold very quickly. A lot of times his opponent will play quite defensively, or go for some sort of mid-game timing, and by that point the gold is really kicked in, and Ruff has the advantage. So I think that would be a fun build to end Game 7 here, whether it works or not. We do have close by air positions with Ruff spawning as the red Terran player in the western position, and Chomp spawning as the purple Terran in the southern position. So could have some drop-in airplay going on as well with the positioning.
Yeah, drop-in airplay, always very, very interesting, as Banshees and Marines stim, all very, very harassment-based tactics, and nothing that will really outright win you the game most of the time, but enough to annoy your opponent. And I think Ruff has perhaps Manor Chomp going a little bit, a nice build, by the way. I'm just saying that in the previous matchup, just level 1 weapons upgrade plus combat shield plus stim, if you guys didn't watch it or just joining in, very effective on Xel'Naga Caverns. Oh, and how did you spot it? Okay. Okay. So yeah, they're talking, if you guys can read the chat.
Yeah, I think Ruff was afraid that his supply depot had given away his build already. So, looks like Ruff just maybe was planning on doing a proxy? I don't know, because he's talking about giving away his build already, but no, we do have a gas going down, so no 2 racks coming, and Chomp scouting very early here. He's going to know exactly what Ruff is going for, so Ruff opening relatively standard, at least for a player like him.
Yeah, Ruff opening pretty standard. SCV coming in, doing a little bit of harassment. Most likely we'll see Ruff train up 1 Marine in order to shoo away that one particular SCV and then add on that Tech Lab. And we'll see there is that SCV making his way out, and it looks like it will be a scouting SCV as opposed to the typical command center SCV that we often see from him. Both sides upgrading orbital commands. Ruff slightly ahead with that orbital command, and also slightly ahead with the Tech Lab. So both players opening up with very similar builds. Supply depots now going down, Reaper now being added, and this may be a true mirror match.
Yeah, it looks like the Reaper is coming out for both players, and we'll see whether Ruff goes for some sort of pressure with that, or whether he goes immediately for the gold. Typically we did see him go for the gold when he comes out with Reapers, but Chomp's going to be able to scout with his own Reaper. Maybe he got some SCV kills. He's already got a second one queued up and ready to go, as does Ruff. And like you said, a mirror match could be underway, and it looks like Ruff does have a SCV position by the gold here. So I think that will be the build he goes for. Already the Reaper making a beeline towards that gold, and I think Ruff's going to throw down that command center. There it is. And I don't know, Credit. Do you think we need to talk to Ruff about getting some new builds? I predicted both the builds so far from him. It's not a lot of fun. It was always nice when he surprised us.
Well, right now, I'm just looking at Chomp, and Chomp's just kind of wondering, like, where exactly is Ruff's Reaper? He has a Reaper waiting on the ledge, and he's playing like this is a pretty straightforward match, just straight game, as this Reaper is going to be able to deal a lot of damage to the rocks. A second Reaper now being added, and it is that 3 Reaper push that we talk about, and his base is completely wide open to harassment. 2 Reapers could easily run in, get in a lot of damage. Ruff now also getting stim as well, so he is going very heavy on gas builds, while Chomp is deciding to go for a factory instead.
Yeah, you're right. He could pop in there with those 2 Reapers and, probably get 6 or 7 SCV kills before the Reapers of Ruff were able to retreat. So I feel like this is an opportunity where Chomp really needs to counter this really heavy economy build that Ruff is going for. Ruff already about to take down the rocks, the command center about to be done, already transferring a ton of SCVs over there. So he's going to have an advantage in just a minute or 2.
Yeah, and we'll see Ruff is going to upgrade to the orbital command, perhaps call down a mule over there. Both sides getting their orbital commands at the same time, but his orbital command is not in position, as we now see a starport coming in, and in comes the Reapers. The Reapers are now going to be making a run by, and now taking down the supply depot, alerting as to what's going on. What are these Reapers going to do?
And it looks like Ruff's going to try to do a little bit of damage to those Reapers, force them to micro back, and now he's going to use his superior Reaper numbers as well as this Marine to try to take down the remaining Reaper. And Chomp, if we look at the Harvester count, it's 25 to 18, and Ruff going to do his best to cut off that Reaper, prevent the scouting information, as Chomp going to pop up there, check for the third in the northern position, and down goes that Reaper. Chomp's still quite blind, but, you know, Ruff is blind too. He hasn't even scouted his opponent at all at this point. He doesn't know which starting position. Actually, he does know that he's in the south, but has no clue what the build of Chomp looks like.
Yeah, and what's going to happen now is that we are going into Cloaked Banshees, and Cloaked Banshees are going to be very, very deadly right now, especially without an engineering bay. Ruff does benefit from having that second orbital command, but he has to be very careful not to spend all of his energy. Otherwise, the Banshees are just going to be rummaging through his base rather quickly. The Reaper's now coming down over here. It looks like they will be trying to make a straight beeline move into this location. Chomp does know that there is a second orbital command somewhere, but he has not scouted this out. Reaper's now making their way in. One SCV down. A second SCV may get taken down, but no, in come the Hellions. One Hellion gets destroyed. A second Hellion gets destroyed as Ruff does a little bit of an exchange there, but Ruff is behind on workers 31 to 26.
And he just saw the starport with the tech lab, so he's throwing down a missile turret as fast as possible, a number of them going down, and we'll see whether this Banshee is able to get in there before the missile turret finishes. It's going to be so close. He's going to have to focus on the SCV that's creating the missile turret. It does finish, so that Banshee really going to be limited in what it can do with the well-positioned missile turret.
Yeah, the Marines are now making their way over as well. It looks like they're going to stim over and then get some damage. Oh, the Banshee was able to cloak just in time. And now we'll see what's going to be happening here is that Banshee just hugging and using that high ground advantage. The Marines overzealous, running straight into those backlash rockets as a second Banshee now makes its way in as well, but now detected by that sensor tower.
Yeah, and Banshees both with Cloak going to be very difficult to deal with here for Ruff, as Ruff does take down one of them, and the other one is being spotted by that sensor tower, as you mentioned. So Ruff responding very nicely with the missile turret and the sensor tower, was able to defend and shut that down, and Chomp just now pushing out this expansion. He does have a lot of energy saved up on that orbital command, both of them in fact, so can drop those mules, but Ruff has had this income advantage, almost double the minerals for several minutes now.
Yeah, this is going to be huge. I do not think Chomp realizes like how far behind he is. Chomp perhaps thinks that he's slightly ahead. He got in a couple SCVs kills already, but because of that gold mineral advantage, in comes the Banshee now. So Banshee now coming in and now able to clear out some of those SCVs. There is one missile turret there. The Banshee getting in some damage here, and now there's the face from Ruff pretty much saying that, yeah, my gold expansion has been scouted out, but what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, that Banshee going to have to pull back here as a bunker already set up with that missile turret. And Ruff has taken map control. He's taken the center. He's got this Onaga. He's got the sensor tower. And, you know, Chomp really can't move anywhere, though he does have the Cloak Banshee here sort of wrestling back map control from Ruff. But like I was saying earlier, if Ruff takes that center watchtower, Chomp can't move anywhere without Ruff knowing.
Yeah, pretty much. As we now see a missile turret has been completed, now revealing that one Banshee there. There's also another missile turret there, getting off 2 quick shots, 24 damage being dealt, and that was very, very heavy. Actually, I think it was 48 damage being dealt there. So the Banshee is now just going to be sitting over there, not going to be able to do very much at all, as Hellions now make their way out. The Hellions do not have Blue Flame tech yet, as the Marines are going to be able to intercept them and destroy those Hellions with ease.
Yeah, it looks like we do see the Ruff pushing out pretty strong here with all these stim Marines. He's got a few Marauders as well, able to take on those tanks, and bunkers trying to be set up here for Chomp. He does have a nice spread here of tanks. He's got high ground tanks as well, shelling these Marines. In comes the stim for Ruff. We'll see whether he's able to break this siege tank line. All these units immediately go down very low, but he still has a lot of firepower. That one last siege tank on the high ground is forced to unsiege, get into better position, but Ruff going to be doing a ton of economic damage here with these stim units. If we check the worker count, 38 to 39, and remember, Chomp has not been on 2 bases for very long. We'll see whether Ruff's able to get that final siege tank, and now it's just one Hellion taking on this loner Marauder for Ruff. and Chomp took a lot of damage there. Ruff did sacrifice the majority of his army, but already pushing out with another large force, and I think this force could end the game.
Yeah, that is a lot of Marines and Marauders in that group. And it's interesting to see that we haven't seen any starport units, and now a factory finally going for that reactor there. Supply depots, sensor towers, making sure that no drops are possible. It looks like there is a cloaked Banshee in the center of the field. And that cloaked Banshee may come back to haunt Ruff just a little bit, as there is a siege tank up on the high ground. The Marines are now trying to stim away, get away from the range, and now able to take down a bunker, and now take down some, take down the orbital command as well. If the orbital command does get taken down, that is going to be the end of it. SCVs now coming in as well. Both sides battling it out. The Banshee getting in some free kills. SCVs are not quite sure what they're doing besides auto-repairing, I guess, as a second Banshee now joins in as well.
I think the SCVs are repairing all the things here, but it is 35 SCVs to 42 SCVs. Ruff has the gold, he's got his natural, he's in prime position here. His income at this point, having forced all those SCVs off the line, is basically quintuple what his opponent has. So Ruff in great position, just needs to macro up another big strong force and push out for the win.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen here. More medevacs being added, and it looks like Ruff really favoring the Marine in this matchup. The Marauders are currently 1-0. It looks like a Ghost Academy, massive Ghost Academies now being placed down. 4 of them, 5 of them being placed down. So I did not predict this. Perhaps someone tapped Ruff on the shoulder and like, hey, you're getting too predictable. The casters knew exactly what you were doing, and Ruff was like, no, I got something.
Yeah, so now he's going to go for mass nuke, which, if you're playing against units like siege tanks and you don't want to go for a ton of Marauders or your own siege tanks, you go for nukes. You push that Terran out of that defensive position, punish him from staying there. I really can't believe that Ruff hasn't wasted a scan, not wasted, but used a scan on these Cloaked Banshees, instead stimming up, pulling back with these Marines. He could really take down Banshees and cost Chomp a lot of gas. Chomp is now on 2 starport, doesn't have any sort of add-on on the 2nd starport yet, just continuing with a lot of siege tanks. He's got 3 factories, so Chomp basically operating off of 1 rack at this point, 3 factories and 2 starport.
Yeah, and Chomp really needs to take down these rocks. He needs to get up another command center. Right now, we can see that Huh?
There's a big drop pushing out.
Oh, all right. I was like, wait,
what? Claim.
All right. I was like, what did I miss? What did I miss? 4 medevacs now on the bottom left-hand side of the map. It will be revealed by the sensor towers, though, so it's going to be interesting to see whether or not Chomp sees this. There's this giant red blob just moving across the map, and I do not think any of the units are moving back. No, the Hellions are moving there, but will they get there in time as the Marauders and the Marines all dropping into position, perhaps going to take down the Armory. The Armory about half or more than halfway done with that 1 sensor tower there. Now going to take down some missile turrets as well. Make sure that there is a possible chance of escape, as now the Banshees are now going to perhaps clean up some of that damage, and it looks like the Marauders and the Marines will just jump inside. Oh no, able to finish off one of the Banshees. And now what's going to be happening here, just cleaning up the outside edge. This Banshee going to have a very bad day. No, it is not going to have a bad day, as it is once again cloaked.
Yeah, and Chomp doing his best to position his siege tanks here. He's lifted off that orbital command, so he's not going to lose that. He can retreat, and this Banshee doing a lot of work. Already 7 kills, 8 kills. Going to be a 9th kill here if he can get another Marine. And I think that Ruff really needs to pick up and go home. There aren't any Vikings out, so his retreat here is quite safe. And he's working on 2 nukes, so actually the Banshee is taking on the medevacs here, and the medevacs are winning out, as Ruff getting a lot of healing done here. One more scan will take out that Banshee easily, and now Chomp has positioned all of his siege tanks in the main. He still has quite a few in the natural, but there goes the scan, and down goes the Banshee, and now we're going to have another drop, perhaps right on top of the siege tanks.
Yeah, we'll see what's going to happen. No, he's going to simply fly by and then look and see where he can, in fact, drop. There is Marines in the center of the map. The medevacs are just saying, wherever you go, you can follow me, but guess where I'm going to land? Chomp trying to get ahead of him. The medevacs are slightly faster, but not faster than those Hellions, and it looks like the medevacs were just doing a tour and doing some sightseeing inside Chomp space before finally retreating.
Getting a little scouting, making the Marines comfortable on their way home. I'm sure they're in no rush to get back to their normal jobs, the 9 to 5. So do a little bit of flyover of Chomp, and now Chomp's going to try to find a timing here with so many tanks. And there's the first nuke, and actually the second and the third nuke as well. We'll see whether these ghosts with the cloak able to get these nukes off. The nuke's about to go down. No scans here coming from Chomp. One does go down, and I'm not sure if the second is actually going to hit from Ruff.
Yeah, the second one's not going to hit from Ruff, as we now see a large siege tank push coming in. Siege tanks are now trying to make their way in. What's going to be happening here? Siege tank and what Marines now trying to stim in as well. That nuke was canceled by himself just because he was unable, and Chomp just going, yeah, and he's laughing at this game. Mass Marines coming in from the front, and yeah, what a strange game. I didn't even catch that final fight.
Oh, Ruff, you're so silly with your drops and your nukes and your pushing the front at the same time. That was a great way to end things in Game 7, and once again, Ruff coming in, taking care of business, and being the anchor of vVv Gaming. And that's exactly what you want to have, a player like that for your Wednesday night roster.